I'm in pain. I'm on muscle relaxers. I overslept. I got my chores done as quickly as I could, and now I'm off to go for my walk at 10 o'clock in the morning. My wife thinks I'm probably pushing a little too much, but get the rock out of my shoe. That's all I got to keep saying to myself. Get the rock out of my shoe. My question becomes, these people who are living into their hundreds, do you think they led sedimentary lives? Do you think they just sat around and they were rich people and just allowed themselves to get bloated and just did whatever? Or do you think it's because they were hard-working people who ate proper and got plenty of exercise and maybe worked through the pain because it's just what you did, and it hardened them, made their bodies hardier and more stronger? Or do you think it was the other way around? That the people that worked and busted their butts ran down their biological clocks and burned out the fuse that does control their RNA? I don't know. All I know is I don't want to die weighing 300 pounds. I mean, sitting around being a sedimentary blob was painful. Made my butt hurt, my back hurt. Getting up is like, oh, now I creak and I ache. Now I get up and go do something, I creak and I ache, but the creaking and aching is from the fact that I've been doing something. I'm trying to figure out which is worse. Hurting because you were moving, or hurting because you're not moving? You shouldn't hurt just sitting there. And if your weight is causing you to hurt just because you're sitting there, maybe you weigh too much. That was my problem. I weigh too much. My joints hurt, it's hard to breathe. I shouldn't be like this. I'm only in my 40s. I understand I should be a little more tired, slowed down, because I'm older than people half my age or, doing whatever. Walk into the corner store should not put me out of breath. Not that I'm saying that it does anymore. There was that point. It was the same reason I quit smoking. When walking up a flight of stairs took my breath away. That's when I decided I'd had enough. I'm just sorry it took another 20 years for me to wake up and realize this. Is the amount I've lost this morning is that a direct relation to the amount of exercise and the amount of food I ate yesterday or the day before that? Does the human body process things that quickly that it happens in a single day, or does it take a day or so for it to catch up? Because some days it seems like I ain't eating squat and I ain't eating squat and I'm busting a hump and I gain 4 pounds. Other days it seems like I sat on my butt most of the day and gorged myself on everything in sight and I lost 4 pounds. Okay, that's backwards. When every day I try to eat a modicum of the same thing. And granted, holidays and gatherings and special events usually cause me to eat a little more and walk and exercise a little less. But I try. I'm always trying to exercise. So how does the weight thing work? Does it take a day or so for the human body to compensate? I'd like to believe so, because right now I'm just yo-yoing up and down between 272 and 275. Speaking of which, we took and went to one of those, 90-minute resort tours, and them trying to get me to buy a vacation resort, timeshare, condo, whatever the heck those things are. And after we did all that, we got to use the facilities afterwards, which for us meant we spent the rest of the afternoon in the pool. I mean, we were in their giant indoor pool for 4 or 5 hours. And while I was in the pool, I tried swimming laps, but unfortunately, my shoulder and my back muscles are hurting like heck. So spinning my arms is kind of painful. I did a couple of laps before I couldn't swing my shoulders far enough for that to work. So instead what I did was walking around in water up to my neck, just walking back and forth and back and forth and back and forth as fast as I could. walking in neck-deep water as fast as you can, really not that easy. So I guess my question there is, does that constitute exercise? I notice I have an unusual habit of leaning forward when I start to walk faster. Trying to figure out why that is. Maybe that comes from playing video games, when you move your body around. When I move my body around to try and get the character to do what I want it to do. If it is, that's kind of a sad response. Even though my habit changes on how I'm eating, and this excessive walking I'm doing seems to be working and helping me burn down the pounds. When I hit these plateau points, I still start thinking about that whole bariatric surgery thing. Because I think about it because the way I've changed the way I eat, that when I do overeat, my stomach does hurt when I eat more than a certain amount of food. And I begin to wonder, what if it hurt more if I had to eat even less? And would me doing that, eating even less, automatically bring my stomach down? Is there a minimum size your stomach is going to get without surgery? I don't know. I gotta hit 270 by the end of summer. And I know I still got 50 days before the end of summer, but I'm so close. I'm so close to 270. I cannot wait for it to get all the way down. And then be bouncing up and down below 270. That would just be amazingly fantastic for me right now. I have a backlog, a big backlog, of these videos to edit together. I mean, like 30 or 40 of them, here and there. I got a massive backlog, and I'm beginning to wonder, is having the backlog a bad thing? Because if I was doing it as I was finishing them, then all I'm doing is listening to myself bitch and moan and talk and complain the same day or the day after I walked. But by watching the backlog, I get to listen to myself how I thought and felt almost a month ago. And begin to wonder if maybe that's a better thing for these purposes. To hear how I was complaining or talking or what I was thinking or feeling back then to refresh my brain. Or even how little I took in video recorded that day. I kind of think it's a better thing. I'm beginning to believe, I think when it comes to colder months, push comes to shove. Whether I can afford one or not, I need to buy a treadmill. Even if that means buying a manual one and loosening it up so I can actually use it. Because if I don't maintain this walking daily thing, I'm just so afraid that come November and the ice and the cold sets in, all I'm going to wind up doing is sitting around and going back to my old habits. And I don't want to do that. When I do go walking by myself, I know I walk faster. And because of that, when I hit a certain speed, and I don't know if it's because I'm growing used to doing this, or because my body's getting lighter, or what, but I start hitting a certain speed, and usually when I'm walking on the downhills, I really have to fight my urge to want to run. Because running is not real good for my knees and my ankles anymore. But it's kind of a strange feeling. A good feeling, but a strange feeling. Things I like to see, because we have all these houses in the neighborhood with for sale signs in front of them. I like to see sold signs on top of those for sale signs. Makes me feel better. Unfortunately, it also activates that paranoid part of my brain going, yeah, but it was sold to somebody who's going to rent the property, which is decreasing the value of the surrounding area. I don't know.